Alright, today we're going to learn about our dry brush blending techniques and our wet brush blending techniques. So these are the two different painting techniques we can use to go from one colour to another, which is really important in painting. To start off, you need to paint your secondary colours. Hands up. What are our secondary colours? Yep.
Purple, green and orange.
Yes, we need to paint them into the purple, green and orange boxes under dry brush technique. And while those are drying, we can get started on our wet brush blending technique. So I've already put down the purple and you can see it's shiny, it's still wet. Now at this end we've got to do a shade and at this end we've got to do a tint. What colour are shadows?
Black.
Black. And the tints are the opposite. So tints are white. So I'll just clean off my brush, and while that purple's still wet, I'm going to put my white down at the tint end. And I'm going to blend on my palette a mixture of purple and white to make a light purple. And I put that in between the white and the purple. Now the secret to the actual blending, you can see here there's very solid lines, those colours aren't blended at all. I take the paint off my brush, and while these are still wet, I smush them together. See all that smushing? See how that line is gone and now it's blended perfectly?
Oh, I see now.
Yes. And I take the paint off my brush, but while this paint here is still wet, I do some more smushing. And with a really tiny brush, you can make this look really perfect. At the other end, I need my shadows, which are what colour?
White. Oh, black.
Black, yeah. So these are art terms, proper art terms to describe colours. You have tints of a colour and you have shades of a colour. So these are something that you do need to remember. So I mix my purple with black on my, what's this called? My palette. It looks like a platter, but it's a palette. Quickly put in a very dark purple. While it's still wet, I take the paint off my brush and I smush them together. What am I doing? I'm smushing, okay? And I want you guys to smush as well. You do that for all three with purple, green and orange. Those are our primary, secondary or tertiary colours, guys.
Primary.
No?
Oh, secondary.
Secondary. Okay, so that's the wet brush, dry brush. My paint is dry. And what I do is I get my light purple, then I dry my brush off and I rub. What am I doing?
Rubbing.
Rubbing. And it can create quite a fluffy kind of blending technique. Then I'm going to get my white and I'm going to make my brush quite dry and I'm going to do more rubbing. And it's quite a messy technique because it's really hard to keep it inside the box. So it's the kind of thing where you'd have to go around with a border afterwards. So again, doing my shade. And where I want it, oh, actually I might do my dark purple here now. Mix some more dark purple. It's very warm in here, so our paints are going to dry super quick. Rub it off. And doing some rubbing. So that's dry brush, rubbing, wet brush, smushing. Wet brush, the paint is wet when we smush it together. Dry brush, we've actually taken nearly all the paint off our brush and it's kind of quite dry and we do some rubbing. And that's our two blending techniques.